We are live from DJ Nasty's studio, systems in place, episode number 6. Welcome back.
Welcome. This is your girl V from Wigs by V.
DJ Nasty up in the hizzo. What's cracking, everybody? Woo! Episode number 6.
We're there.
Sauce.
And if you don't know who I am, then you need to do some research, motherfuckers. Just kidding.
You got the beautiful.
My name is Jocelyn Little. You probably know me by gambling. I am here with my friends today on our 6th episode. I think this is the longest thing I've been committed to this whole year.
Same.
Good and bad.
God. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Thank you for giving us that time. That's awesome. Coming from a very, very busy person like yourself.
I'm not awesome. Busy. I just look busy.
Hey, that's good. Hey, you got it down to a T.
Today, what are we talking about today? Thanksgiving. That was the topic. That was my research topic. But the more that I read into it, the more boring it got. And the more I realized that everything they taught us was not true. And it was kind of all a big question mark. So in 1620, the Pilgrims landed in Plymouth Rock. It's like this big rock that they Sewoon was like the landing point. That's where they decided to settle. There was a tribe there. I don't know how to pronounce the tribe. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, just not to be rude, but it starts with a W. So this happened in 1620, which was 400 years ago. Crazy to think 400 years ago. And then in 1621, they harvested they had like a 3-day harvesting gathering, right? And it wasn't documented on the English side whether or not the natives joined them. So that's kind of like a gray area that was taught in our history. You know, they taught us the Pilgrims and the natives were friends, and they had Thanksgiving together, and you know they feasted for 3 days, and
like a big party and stuff.
Yeah. So that it's not on record that natives were there. They may have been. Also, it's not on record that they had turkey for sure. The only thing that is on record about turkeys is that there was like an influx of wild turkey that fall of 1621. So there was a lot of turkeys flying around, a lot of wild turkeys, but there's no proof that, you know, they actually had turkeys.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes didn't grow back then in that part of the world. Yeah, just like random things that just don't make sense. It's just kind of like something that was, what's the word?
Given.
Capitalism. It's just like a story that capitalism kind of came about. So like I think it was like in 1823 was when Abraham Lincoln made it an actual holiday, and I think it was like 30 years before that was when the English or the settlers started saying, okay, this is Thanksgiving. But it was like hundreds of years after, and it was just kind of like their version of what had happened 200 years ago.
Oh,
but according to the natives, they have a whole different story, right? So at first they were friends. They were fine. The natives did help them, grow their crops and harvest. In the beginning, that's why they had that 3-day like big feast and stuff. But then, like years later, as more settlers came, it caused friction between the previous settlers, the new settlers, and the natives. So that's when it started, and they started going to war, and they were bringing more disease and more, like, I think it was when the Black Plague and Squanto came about, and they started bringing more diseases and stuff. So a lot of the natives died. So it was easier for the settlers to come in and just build over their graves because they were gone. No one was there to fight for those lands anymore. They didn't have to share the land for the crops, and so it's like a fucked up reality that, I don't know, the older I get, the more I realize that holidays, everything that's kind of been taught is like kind of bogus, and I'm not really called to celebrate these holidays. I love getting together with my family. I think it's dope that we have those days, those times at the end of the year where we know we're going to hang out with our family, and that's kind of what we look forward to, or our friends, or going around and getting plates from different homes, or like, oh, I tried this new recipe, like, that the interaction, the community interaction, that's what I like. Also, I read that the natives have been having celebrations of giving thanks for many years, way before. They've always celebrated in those ways of giving thanks, and that was one of their celebrations was to give thanks to Mother Nature, to their lands, to their food, and they hold a lot of value to that.
I love the fact that they would do that, because I feel like that's what we've forgotten about getting together in gatherings. And I felt this way for many years, where we do forget the actual, like, sitting down and having that meal with your family. We get so busy, or at least in my life, and I know a lot of people can relate, where we're so busy we really don't have the time to sit down and actually have a meal together. I like everything you told us, because it sounds like just like everyday life. There's always three stories, A, B, and really the C, which would be the truth.
Yours,
hers,
mine, and
the truth. And we'll never really know it, but it is important to keep together as your family, whether it's 2-3 people, that's family, or a big gathering, which they're now even trying to take away from us too, where we're not allowed to do those kinds of celebrations.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
I think it's kind of crazy that they give us certain days to be thankful for.
And we should do it every day.
They kind of programmed you to work your ass off all year, and then at the end of the year you get a week off from school, from work.
Not even from work. I don't get a week off from work.
Well, the Thursday, and agarras puente, el viernes, sábado, domingo. Yeah. But even then, Christmas, same thing. Like New Year's, same thing. It's like it's like, if you go deep into it, maybe on the other side of the portal, we can talk about it. But they literally,
it does feel like the little milestones, right, to get you through
there's
a year.
Ceremonies that these pagan holidays are set up, for us to celebrate, and it's like it's the energy that we put out, like as the whole, as a collective, the energy that's given. You give thanks to what?
To yourself working hard all year, supposedly, right? I mean, for you being the slave.
But you just said the right word, being slave and being smart. So that's why they pick certain days. I mean, what odd? It's on November and December, and they squeeze the most they can, the money out of you. Because even if you don't buy presents, you don't celebrate that or this, you buy food.
Black Friday, all that.
Yeah, and when did that start? I mean, it's so crazy.
It all revolves around capitalism. You buy decorations, you buy a tree, you buy lights, your light bill goes up.
And here's another thing, like they put that on like on YouTube, because like my kid, the only reason we did the lights this weekend was because the whole YouTube.
They did a YouTube tutorial or videos of how to put up
anything he
sees
and stuff, and he's just been bugging and bugging. I'm like, okay, fine, we got to do it before Thanksgiving, and we did, thank God. But it's just like we did it for him, which I'm glad. It feels good seeing my lights outside. It's nice, but it's just as long as you remember not to fall down that hole.
But like you said, resonated a lot is like, why do you have to give thanks or be grateful or just hang out with family that day, this certain day of the year? Obviously we should be trying to hang out with their families every weekend, or hang out with people that we love every weekend, try to see them as much as we can every weekend, not necessarily just give us a day where we have to go and meet up with everybody. But I understand, because of our busy lifestyles and our busy schedules, and this type of the norm that we are all just born into, to just go work that 9 to 5, work Monday through Saturday or Monday through Friday. And, on the weekends, you just like look forward to some little bit of fun that you could actually kind of do or
even just hanging out in your room. Like, like that's what I like to do. I like to just hang out in my room. But like yesterday, I was feeling really weird in the morning. I was just out of my vibe. And so I hit up one of my friends, and he's been going through a tough time, and, he's reached out to me many times and just kind of shared, things with me. And so I called him and I was like, hey, like, do you want to go to the park? Do you want to like get a smoothie or something? So I invited him out, and honestly, we didn't even really talk at all. It was just super like nonchalant, small talk. But just like being there with him, I knew that I got him out of a dark place. I got him out of his room. I got him out of, and I kind of tell him things. And I always carry my book with me, and sometimes I'll read from it and it resonates. It's like the page that I open just kind of has the perfect thing to say, and it was talking about transforming, and about like that was pretty much the topic, was transforming. And he's going through that rough patch where he stopped working and now he has to go back to work, but he's trying to figure out like he just needs to have like that courage to get back into it. And a lot of us fell this year. We fell back and we got up, we fell back again, and we're still going, but all that matters is that we get back up and we keep going, because we've been through everything until this point. Like, we've gotten through everything that we've been through until today. So looking back, it's encouraging sometimes to look at your downfalls and see how many times you've fallen and compare your life now to how it was before. And we were talking about COVID and stuff, and how like just being on your phone, there's just a whole world inside your phone of negativity, and you just like get sucked into it. And I told them, like, just being outside, it's so nice. We were looking at the clouds, like watching the trees, and just being out felt so good. And I told him this, like, being in your room, you're consumed on your phone, you're watching something, you're just so lost in all of this. But once you come out and you like look up at the sky and you see the people like coming to the park and stuff, you kind of, these problems don't exist anymore, and they're not as big as what they were earlier, when you were glued onto your phone and just tapping and just seeing all this stuff. And
it's an anxiety you get,
and
man.
it's nature that gives you your natural medicine. That's why I love hiking. And I started hiking because of the whole COVID pandemic that we're living. And honestly, it changed my life. It healed me. It helps me with my depression. It helps me with my anxiety. It makes me, like, when I'm out there, I think of all these awesome things. I'm like, wow, that mountain is so big and gorgeous and this and that. It's like, I can do that too. Like I am that amazing too. Just like the person listening, you're amazing too. And if you're stuck or fallen, like, cause I've been down, and it's like, sometimes you can't get back up. You can't. And that's totally okay. Enjoy that downfall, because
that's healing. That's part of healing. And it's shadow work.
It does. That's crazy. I was listening today to a podcast that was talking about crying, and how when you cry, it releases endorphins that actually relieve stress, and actually like there's chemicals in your tears, like when it's actually tears of like, whether it's joy, whether it's anger, whether it's from depression, whether it's from something that you don't know what you're doing, or whatever it is, like those tears, there's actually like there's actually, it's like a bacteria.
Snowflake. All snowflakes are different.
And in the same with your tears, and they were talking about how, like, I think it was kind of funny because it was talking about pregnancy crying, and how, like, it was just like a stressful moment, and she didn't know why she was crying. She was just kind of just crying because she was excited that the baby was coming. She didn't know what day, any day now, but she was just kind of just like in this trend of just like crying, and and she didn't know. And then she was like, well, somebody, like in that time, my brother comes into the room and he asked me, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And he leaves, and I just bawl out even more, and I cry. And she's like, but in reality, if he would have stayed there and just been like, oh, it's okay, like, I still would have cried. I still would have bawled out. You know what I mean? But it's just letting that out, being able to release that, like, those endorphins. And it's part of like everything too. Like, being able to distress yourself, going for that walk, going for that little hike, like you said, just sitting down and staring at the sky, like, it's super relaxing, like, makes you forget about everything. When you start walking, you start exercising, there's more oxygen going into your brain. It gets you flourishing with more ideas. You start thinking about this. Things, like you said, don't seem so bad anymore. Because once I'm staring at my phone and I'm like on my computer, I'm going back and forth between everybody having fun and everybody telling me that COVID is fucking out there, and like there's fucking all these, cases are rising. So I'm just like, I'm stuck in the middle between, I'm like, I want to go out or I want to stay inside.
And then they give you a curfew.
And they give you a fucking curfew. So I'm just like, fuck, I'm not going to go drink fucking from 8 to 10 and then come back and fucking try to get all fucked up before 10. So it's just this social norm that I understand where everybody's coming from right now. We all feel it. Like it's super hard. Like I'm not at the point where I've lost my job and stuff like that, but I have seen people and I've heard people losing their jobs, and you know, like it's taking a toll. It's taking a toll on them mentally. You know, like their anxiety, their social anxiety is still, you know, it's kind of out there. You know, like they haven't recovered from that because like maybe now they've been stuck in their home, kind of just thinking about like what's the big bad like COVID out there that's like waiting for me to get it, you know, because you were sent home or you were fired because of this, because there was no more work. So, you know, you left in fear. So now you're going to come back to like the work environment, and now you just barely started. Now they're cutting back hours again. So it's just like, who, like in this times of uncertainty, who really knows? But you know, what we can do is just try to stay positive. Like, you know, look to someone that's close to you, you know, ask for help. You know, don't be afraid to fucking cry. You know what I mean? Like, I know that, you know, sometimes, you know, crying may make you seem like weak or, you know, or
Culturally,
I think, you know, it is
Yeah.
because like, even, you know, when you watch movies and stuff like that, you know, people like that, like in reality, like they're one of the peoples that are more strongest, you know, because they know how to express their feelings and they know how to hold them, you know. And if you keep them bottled in, you're gonna just explode one day too. You're gonna either, you know, you're gonna mentally break down, you know, you're not gonna be able to express yourself, or you might just get a stroke. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because from, you know, keeping everything bottled inside, like you will have a stroke. You know, you will get that stress. Stress is a killer too. So
and I think, you know, everything that's happening right now, it's all to fuck with our emotions. Like, you know, I don't know, I'm getting older. My health is becoming like a priority of mine because, you know, I didn't really take care of myself when I was younger because for the most part I was healthy, you know, I thought. And like now, you know, I've been dealing with, you know, doctors and stuff, and literally just everything, how they, like, just even the COVID testing, how they test you but they can't tell you if you have COVID for a few days, like, and then when you do, like, all of that fucks with your head.
Oh yeah,
all of that fucks with your mind. Those couple of days that you have in limbo, like being at home, because I know I had COVID, like for sure I had it, so it's very debilitating. Like, it just, not only does it affect you physically but mentally, hearing, you know, people are dying and then you get this shit, it's like,
I think that
holy
just,
fuck. And then you kind of feel bad because you like survived, and it's just like, it just fucks with you emotionally on so many levels. And again, like, people lose their job, they can't go to work for 2 weeks. I know someone that got COVID and they were only at their job for a few months, so they don't get like sick pay or something. So it's like, what are you to do for those 2 weeks? Like, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. What do you do?
Well, and it's like you were saying about your friend going back to work. If you got laid off or whatever your situation is,
He
and then
actually,
you go back,
he had a breakdown.
oh,
He had a mental breakdown from everything because he was doing a lot of research about, you know, like the other side of the portal. And he was just like, he got really deep into it. And
when you fall down those rabbit holes, you have to have like a head on your shoulder, like a good head, because you can, like, there's a time when I was listening to InfoWars and aliens and, you know, all these other things of like the government, conspiracy, JFK, all this stuff, you know, so you can fall in deep with it. You get paranoid, dude. Like, you live in a constant state of like, holy shit, like this doctor's probably just wants me to fucking get this vaccine so I can fucking, you know, be sterile for the rest of my life, you know, or, you know,
and to an extent you have so much reason to think that way because history repeats itself, and it seems like it's repeating itself right now. And, you know, if you're not knowledgeable of, you know, what's happened in the past, what our government's capable of, what they've done.
Yeah.
And even if you are knowledgeable, you know.
Yeah, it's
what's
like
cynical, you know. Like,
yeah,
I
so
mean,
it does get to you. But what I was going to say is, like, your friend or anybody out there that has had a job and then they, like, let them go for lug or whatever it is, and then they go back. It's like having that fear of, like, what's happened before, why wouldn't it happen again? I mean, like, that must be, like, the worst feeling in
you
the
already live in
world.
fear too, like you're gonna
Yeah.
get fired, or you don't know when's the next one that you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
or like I read about today, like I read something about like LA is not gonna allow to have restaurants.
Oh,
outside.
outdoor seating.
Outdoor
Yeah,
seating.
outdoor seating.
What?
So what the fuck? Yeah.
I mean, LA is like 2 hours away. What do you mean?
I'm
Like,
actually supposed to go have dinner tomorrow in LA.
see,
Yeah,
well, that's
And I'm
prob-
thinking, I'll cook if we can't go have dinner.
you're probably gonna
Yeah.
have to do that.
So that's insane. Like, I mean, like, what is the new norm? Like, cases are rising, but what about the death tolls? Death tolls are not, as much as like the cases. Obviously, everybody's getting more. It's getting closer. It feels closer. Like, like the schools are starting. Like, hey, this kid got one. This kid now my
And then
work,
they close it for 2
now
weeks.
over here, and then they close it for 2 weeks.
Like
Just
what?
virtual-
What is
it's
that?
crazy.
So I mean, I was listening to this one that we're talking about this university in New York, where it's like 900 kids got like fucking COVID, and they're actually, some of those kids that go to those universities, they're actually having their kids stay there in the dorms, like like stay in.
Well, I think Ohio
offering
didn't.
food, offering health benefits, hospitalization, stuff like that these kids will need, because they don't want them to go back to their homes, to their parents with COVID. So they're being tested before they come into school, and they're being tested now when they're going to leave for winter break also. So, and if they're leaving and they're testing positive, they have to stay. They have to stay back.
Yeah.
So,
And I know that in like other places like Ohio, they actually kept the kids, which is weird. That
That's
they would do that.
scary.
That is scary.
Well,
it's super
yeah,
scary.
it's super
but I
scary.
do have a question. What happened to the flu?
yeah, the flu is not around. It's not
Not this year.
postponed
Oh,
till
okay.
next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's on vacation until
the Bahamas.
the next.
Okay. Well, that being said,
I don't know how we went from Thanksgiving to the flu, but it looks like history's
yes.
repeating itself, and the fucking settlers are bringing back their germs.
Hey, it is, huh? It does. Hey, so imagine that, yeah, because that's how like most of these SARS and like these, these viruses that came through, like because the settlers were such dirty ass fucking people traveling through the seas for months and months, and they carried fucking rats and fucking all this food inside their boats and wood and all this crazy stuff. So they were just all intermingled with everything that was going on in there, and like not even knowing if they were gonna reach the other side of the world, so it was just like that's how
Surviving mode.
viruses get spread. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
the
think
perfect
it's the
concoction.
gentrifiers that are spreading the virus.
Yeah.
chemtrails.
Yes.
Chemtrails.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So listen to your gut, guys. Listen to your gut. Let's go to listen to
Clean
your gut.
your gut. Clean.
Your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a good
Detox.
time? This is a good time to talk about some kombucha. What does that kombucha do for your gut? What does that do? Does it just-
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with kombucha.
Okay.
I don't mind the taste of it or anything like that. I think it's just hard for me to drink because of the gassiness of it.
Is there actually alcohol? Like no, right?
No,
this
not on there. On Boochcraft has alcohol in
That's
it,
like good.
which it has it's like the same thing, but it has alcohol in it. But I think this one has 0.5% alcohol.
Can you show it to the camera for our YouTube
It
viewers?
Health Aid,
matches.
Health Aid.
This is Health Aid kombucha. It's a bubbly probiotic tea superfood. It's a maca berry flavor, so it's maca root, aronia, and black currant. So
And where can we find this?
I got this at grocery outlet. They're like $4.
Which one?
And grocery outlet.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I always get like 3 or 4. I tried the bubbly rosé. That one's really good. So, I think it was when did I start acupuncture? In May, when I started acupuncture. She told me that there's something wrong with my stomach, and it's kind of something that's been happening since I was really young. And she would tell me, if you would have came to me sooner, I would have been able to fix you. And so every time she checks me, she always says, your stomach is bothering you. I have like a weird relationship with my gut. I think it all kind of stems from when I was younger. This lady that used to take care of me, she used to force me to eat food, and I was always really small, and she would serve me like a lot of food, and she wouldn't let me get off the table until I finished all of the food. So I would find ways to put the food in the napkin, find ways to finish the food, because she wouldn't let, like, it was like fucked up, like torture type shit. And so I always had problems eating, and even my mom would make me eat, and I would have her call my grandma, and my grandma would be like, oh, just eat a little bit, you know, you don't have to eat a lot. It was always like a problem, me and eating. And so yeah, now that I'm older and, you know, I'm still like very small, I haven't gained weight. That's why I had that procedure done last week where they put a camera down my throat. It's called an endoscopy. And they pretty much put a camera down my throat, down to my upper intestine, and they grabbed like a specimen because they were going to test it because they think I have like bad bacteria. And my results came back today, and it turns out I do have bad bacteria. So they're, I don't know, going to give me treatment. I kind of did some research, and it's like pretty serious stuff. So that's why I'm here to tell you to listen to your gut. If you feel like there's something wrong with you, go to the doctor. Because me, I just thought, you know, I'm skinny. I've always been skinny. But, you know, going to the doctors these past couple of months a lot, you know, I've always been underweight. Like, that's like the main thing. Underweight. And they're trying to figure out like why I can't gain weight. Turns out I have this bacteria that is like eating up the lining of my stomach, which has so many side effects and can eventually lead to cancer if I don't take care of it. And now that I'm like looking up WebMD and all these shits, I'm like traumatizing myself. And, you know, I just want to be mindful and knowledgeable of like what my body is doing and why it's reacting certain ways. And, you know, at first I thought I just ate a lot of chile and I just always had to have my chiles toreados and always had to have spicy food. But it turns out it's way more than that. And, you know, it's my stomach that's not absorbing nutrients how it should.
Yeah. And even if you don't listen to your gut, clean your gut, because we have put so much stuff in our bodies throughout the years and it's just sitting there. That's why it's good to do a combo sesh, because that really does remove all of that, as well as traumas and many, many, many other things. But that's crazy. Yeah.
Whoa. I'm like speechless because
I know. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I feel like I should. Okay. I feel like the more I talk about it, the less I'll be scared, because I was crying today when I got the news, because it's like, what is this? I've never heard of it. Something so brand new, and it's just like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because diseases or sicknesses or anything like that, it doesn't choose whether you're skinny, you're chunky, you're tall, you're short. It doesn't matter. Like, it will grab on, you know.
So now, you know, it said, like, I read something that says like you usually feel the pains more when you're on an empty stomach, and I used to fast a lot, so I couldn't really tell the difference. But like today I fasted most of the day just because, okay, one of the side effects is you don't get hungry. Okay. So I don't get hungry, and like I can go pretty much most of the day without eating. And so today, you know, it's funny because you read it and you put it in your head and it's like, oh shit, you feel it happening, right?
I know.
So it said something like, oh, it starts at your belly button and then you feel it like up to your stomach, and it's like, okay, now I feel that. Like, why do I feel that? Okay. So it's just
it's like that placebo type of effect.
Kind of. So, you know, I read into it and I'm like, okay, well, that's not gonna happen to me. Like, it usually happens to people over the age of 50. So it's just crazy how I'm having all these, you know, physically health issues, and now like internally I'm having health issues, and it's like, okay, what's next? Throw it at me.
Time to go reverse it, reprogram,
everything. And it all has to do with my diet, and that's why I'm saying, like, listen to your gut, because for the longest time, even like, when was it, on Friday, I went to go pick up some sweaters from my friend, and we were talking about health and stuff, and I was telling him how I love Chick-fil-A, and I'm like at Chick-fil-A once a week, and I catch myself Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, dude, that shit's crack. Like, it has to have crack in it. Like, there's no way it does not have crack in it. Like, and so, you know, I was talking to him about how I know people that are like super into, you know, conspiracies, and like, you know, do you know what's happening in the world? Do you know what you're eating? This and this and that. And it's like, I see these people eat and they eat like shit. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
how are you going to scare me and tell me all these things when you're like eating
And you
like
turn
hot
around and do
Cheetos for
that.
breakfast and
Yeah.
shit? It's like, so, you know, I think the difference between like me and those people is that at least I know. And every time I put hot Cheetos in my body, I'm thinking like,
Oh, I hate
I'm
that.
putting this in my body,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
know what I'm putting in my body, and I let my gut win.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't listen to my gut. I listened to my lombriz, but I didn't listen to my gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to that fucking little animal that wants to be fed
That
cochinero.
addiction. Yeah. Pinche gusano.
And you know, and I just always acknowledge the fact that it beat me and that I'm fucking weak for eating these hot Cheetos. And today I wanted to eat hot Cheetos so bad and I didn't. Like se me antojaron con limon and a dash of salt and I didn't. And I'm just like like if I'd rather not eat anything than eat not healthy stuff.
Yeah, you just gotta change it to something else because, like, when I found out I was I had to eat just
Intolerant,
gluten-free and stuff. I was like, what the heck? Like, everything I eat is that. Like, are you kidding me? There's just no way. But I did have to flip it also for health issues. And you don't want to have that health issue. Like, I thought I had cancer. We went through a whole, like, so many months because they found, like, a lump by my, like, breast. So it's like breast and armpit and shit like that scares you. And that was over a year ago.
Like sits you back down. Like
Oh,
shit,
yeah,
like,
you
what the
start
fuck?
thinking, and I actually thought like, fuck, I'm gonna have to do chemotherapy, and I was like, I don't want to do chemotherapy, and you just have to put it in your head. No, like, even though there's a big old bump and it just keeps growing and it's lump and it's big, like it keeps growing, it's like, fuck, do I have cancer? No, you just have to put it in your head and
Yeah.
train your mind.
Yeah,
No, I do not. No, and I didn't. It was actually an inflamed lymphoma, and that shit just scared me, but that can lead to cancer.
Yep.
So what did I do? Changed my life around completely, and that's how I started with, I mean, I don't eat healthy, but like being mindful, like you said, when you eat those hot Cheetos or I'm eating that steak and it's like, really, Velia, you're really gonna do this shit when you can be eating better?
You can eat steak. I ate steak yesterday, girl. Just make sure you get some like veggies with that.
I do, but it's still
veggies.
bad. Like if you can just flip it, you know?
I don't think it's completely bad. Like I'm not gonna be one of those
No,
people,
but no.
but
It
you know, but yeah, like
It is.
the goal is to be alkaline, which is to have a balanced pH balance.
So do you guys go more with like? Would you go more with plants or more
Yeah.
with
Vegetables and
Yeah.
raw food.
And
I'm
a
gonna have
lot
to
of
listen
nuts.
to this one podcast that the guy was talking about. Like he was like about plants and you know and how like plants, you know, plants don't have legs. Plants don't have armor to defend themselves. So plants, their armor is their biome inside of them. Their fucking cell walls. Their what the stuff that's inside of them. So what happens with vegetables and plants that are not supposed to be eating, they taste bad and then they produce like venenos that go in your system. So I mean I could say like, yo, yeah, I want plants, but for me, I feel like us humans we're here where we're at because of the fact that we figured out how to cook food, how to cook meat. Meat that's like our essential, what it made our brains kind of just work and our muscles get bigger, like we're able to like sustain more, we're able to build more, we're able to like go longer times without being, and I think we developed that because, plants aren't really available for us year round. Year round, if you really are like a Native American or like a tribe, growing up, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever's, your farm or your land is not producing year round. So, you have to find different ways for you to stash your corn or, you stash more raw meat. And then I think that's where that came from.
Yeah, I think meat was like a celebratory type thing. They didn't eat meat every single day, but when they did hunt, they would, like you said, stash meat for long winters.
Another one of those is like one of the bigger things that we as like, I think in our culture in the United States, we don't eat is like liver, like the heart, like there's like different parts of an animal that we don't eat that is actually like, it's a liver. If, you know, like imagine like something that's out there, you know, like hunting, it's in the plains, it's in like, you know, like it's an animal that's out for survival. You know what I mean? Like it has all the proteins and nutrients that it's gonna need. It's gonna in its meat. So when it comes down to like you taking those nutrients from that animal, like that's goes straight to your body too. You know, whether it's your liver, your heart, stuff like that.
But those animals get their nutrients from plants.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, if
and other animals.
Yeah.
So.
If I could, I would put
But so they break it down and then they turn them into muscle, and when you're
He
eating,
just loves
it's muscle.
me.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know.
You do love me.
Because it's a cycle of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like most animals eat plants. Only the carnivores eat animals, but those animals that they eat plants.
Yeah, true.
So like, say like a gazelle. A gazelle doesn't eat meat. It eats grass. Which, you know, has the proteins, whatever, to keep it alive. And then the lions eat the gazelles. It's just the cycle of life, pretty much.
So we should eat lions.
It's eco over ego.
Eco over ego. That's cool. I like that. So yeah. So listen to your gut. That's a very cool. We were talking about that last week too, about like also jumping forward into your businesses and, you know, adventures that you want to do. You know, but it's cool that you brought that aspect of listen to your gut, as in like health wise.
Yeah,
you know,
because
there is
it's
a lot
your
of problems
other brain.
You said that to me. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
It's literally connected from your stomach to your brain. And if you look at an intestine, it looks like a brain. And you have two of them.
That's trippy. Whoa.
And they're probably our dirtiest.
And they're so long. They're like miles long.
Yeah, that's what yeah. So, that's right.
Let's
gotta
look
clean
up.
that shit.
But I feel que cuando como, luego voy al baño. So I don't know how long it is really.
Estás directo. He's on the carpool lane.
There's that carpool lane. I got that.
We have gonna take it to a business ideas.
They're not miles. They're 15 feet.
Whoa, hey, still
I'm like, they're miles
15 feet.
long.
That's still long.
Dude, 15
Yeah.
feet is like,
15 feet.
I would say like the length of the studio.
This
the
is
length
like
of the
10
studio.
feet.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
This is a 10 feet. Yeah.
Imagine how mine. Oh, they clean that up.
22 feet. 15 and 22 feet.
15 and 22. Damn, that's long.
That is long.
How does it all fit
Oh,
in here?
so then I'm not. Then I'm not
See,
fat.
yeah, you're
It's
not
my
fat. It's
fucking-
mostly intestine, dude. It's that, dude. It's mostly intestine. Up in
No,
there,
Dude, so like you're supposed to gain weight, I'm supposed to lose. Why can't we just like
Just switch
high five that
off,
shit?
girl.
Shit.
Venmo you. Wait.
My bad, maybe
You know, and then like one of the other things that it said, it's like bloating. Like the only like big part of me is like when I bloat. And like I don't even have a gut, but it's like I get bloated.
You do.
Yeah.
And it hurts. being
It's
bloated.
uncomfortable.
Very
That's
uncomfortable.
trippy as hell. I used to be very bloated when I used to drink a lot of beer. I noticed that. After I
See,
stopped
and
drinking,
so
like,
that's why I'm like trying to stay off the alcohol,
Yeah,
because
like,
my
that was
stomach, like obviously this bacteria is eating up my lining, so it's, you know, alcohol. No.
Making it worse.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how like after, like you said, you start going to the doctor and you start seeing all these things and you start being mindful, like ya ahora te dan miedo, like even to
Okay,
grab those
well,
shit,
like
dude.
today, so I got the call. She was like, "Oh, we did find this bacteria. You came positive for this bacteria," and she didn't tell me anything about it. She just said, "We have to get you to see the doctor. Can you come in on the 3rd?" And I was like, "Do you have anything sooner?" And she said, "We have like a telecom one on Monday." So I was like, "Yeah, that's better." So you know, she didn't tell me anything. She can't tell me anything. So they have me here for a whole week with no results, just this word of this thing. And so I look it up and I see, you know, all these things, and one of them could lead up to cancer, and it's to stomach cancer. And it's like, what? I'm supposed to wait a week for you to tell me
Like,
that?
shouldn't I be getting treated right fucking now? Like,
But that's fucking with your mental. Like, that is literally
That's what they do.
you
Big
on
pharma.
edge for a whole week. I have to be on edge.
Imagine that.
And Googling myself and, you know, trying to figure out my diet and thinking back, like, what could I have done? How did I get it? All this. How long have I had it? Has it been since I've been little? Like, have I had this all of my life and I just never got tested for it?
Damn, that's insane, man.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like bringing your car to the mechanic and they're like, oh, it doesn't have an oil, but come back next week.
Yeah.
Like, your car's not going to be running by the next week. What the fuck? Like, what do you, like, yeah.
So now I'm fucking drinking kombucha. Like, fucking scared to eat anything because I'm scared.
No, you should eat, though.
No, I definitely should, but I don't have an appetite.
Oh, my God.
See, and that's why we have to, like, focus on applying it with
So
our
would that be
kids,
CBD?
too.
Is that where the CBD comes in hand?
No, I think, honestly, I think, like, I just need to, like, schedule out my day and I have to eat at this time, I have to eat at this time, and just, I have to be like Ezekiel with my snacks everywhere. Mm-hmm. I just need to have my snacks with me.
You should.
I just need to have food with me.
The problem with Ezekiel is that he doesn't get full.
Porque también, like, imagínate, like, okay, so... Not to be like, I don't know. Okay, so like, you know, that's what happens when people use crystal meth. When people use crystal meth, I'm sorry,
I've
just
never in my life done crystal meth.
Okay,
just
but hear me out for this.
Just for the record, I've never done crystal meth.
You could have said Coke.
Not even on accident.
No, because Coke is not the same. Because crystal meth is a drug that makes you not want to eat, and your stomach ends up eating itself. So that's why you're never hungry. You know, like that's kind of what came into my mind when you said that, when you were talking to me about that, because I've seen it go through, you know, through people, you know, and that's how it's explained. It's like pretty much like no te da hambre and no te da, like, you know, it's just this, your bacteria, like your gut eating itself, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, so make sure that you always have something, like some food in there, because like you said, if you don't get hungry, you know, that's why those tweaker people, like, aparte de que están, obviamente, like, they're out of this world and they're not even, like, here on this planet and on this sick one, and they haven't slept for days. And so there's things that lead up to that, obviously, for drug addicts. But, I mean, I'm talking, like, as in with you, yeah, that's be good. Put it in your calendar. Write yourself every day, like, hey, you know, in the morning, make sure you have your little, you know, your pan or your something, you know, your good breakfast, then lunch and dinner. Boom. So your stomach is not fighting for that food in there, because you do need to be able to produce that and be mindful and put a little calendar reminder on every day. I just did that today, too. I did a reminder.
And I have like 2 family members who actually lost a lot of weight because they made themselves eat every 3 hours. And that's one thing that I like made me realize. I'm like, oh, like, and I told that to, it's actually one of my aunts. I was like, oh, like, yo me malpaso, like, I won't eat until like really, really late. And she's like, oh, that was me. So like, if you're not like actually getting up and eating, then that's how you gain weight. And I think it's probably like the opposite with you
and
too.
I think also too, a lot of people mistaken their hunger for thirst. A lot of people eat when their body's thirsty.
And our body's more water than anything.
But yeah, but if you do find it yourself, like, if you don't eat right either, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just eating like guzguerias here, you eat like little chips here, little chips there, then that's why you're also, you know, you're going through that where you're not full, your stomach is not full. And like I was telling V the other day too, that's why I kind of like fasting too, because fasting kind of got me on that like mindset that it was like, it's super hard to get back in. I've been like super hard to get back into it, but I want to, because fasting was just like, you know, after 6 or 7 at night, you know, you have your dinner, that's your last meal. You don't have your next meal until 11 or 12 in the next day. You know, you do either a, 12-hour fast, 14, 16, you can do an 8-hour fast. However you feel that you need to start, but stick to that fast. And don't allow your body to have any type of sugar, like, because the fact that your body, your body's working on your fat already, like your food that you already had for dinner, right? But then say like late night around 11, then you eat some cornflakes or something. Then your body's not even done digesting the food that you already had for dinner, and you're already going back to.
You're adding more workload
and it's fighting more this new food that's already right there. So I saw that like the bloatedness I think went down for me when I started doing that, and I was like, man, because this past weekend I had a quinceañera at a wedding. And I fit into a large. I was like, damn. I was like, okay. I haven't fit into a fucking long sleeve large in fucking years. I was like, damn, okay. So that helped out. I was like, I can see where that, the just dropping the beers and dropping that. I'm like, oh, cool. Now I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. I mean, I'm not where I want to be at, but Jesus,
so
You're
I'm
making
fucking
progress.
large. Like, I got to the point where I was going the extra large, and the extra large was like, the buttons were about to break off, and I was like, fuck, and you, to me, that's, and you don't want to be that. So, you're like, shit, okay.
Or sometimes I would look at myself and be like, wait, but I thought you were skinny. Like, you were good.
Last week you were good. What happened? Is it the angle?
It's the angle.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, let's be a little bit more mindful on that what's it called,
That topic?
no, what is it called, Jesus Christ, I just left it. Fasting.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
fasting, I think fasting also helped me out a lot.
After I had COVID, it was hard to get back into fasting.
Dang. Yeah, and it's hard to get back into it. Like I think because I was even drinking like the black coffee in the mornings, just water. Like black coffee was like worse to get, because I'm like the type of person that I go early in the morning, I grab my donut and my coffee, and I head into work all fucking, hey, what's cracking?
Oh, happy.
10 minutes late, pero con su café.
Shit, I'm like 30 minutes, an hour. I'm like, what's cracking, guys?
Oh, there was a lot of traffic. Went to Starbucks.
No, when I'm really late, I fucking bring like a whole dozen of donuts and shit. I'm
Really
like, hey,
late,
what's
3
up,
hours
guys?
in.
Boom, right there. And they're like, oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. I forgot about it. So, you just got to learn to suck it. Real good. You'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, suck up
One
to
thing,
that,
too, I don't know if I've said this earlier, but sugar is you feed the disease with
Yes.
sugar. So your body can't live, disease can't live in your body if you keep putting sugar in it.
I know sugar was sold to us like it's crazy.
It was even worse than cocaine.
I always, because you know how they measure sugar in grams? I always think, damn, that's a lot of weed. Because they'll put like 35 grams in your fucking Gatorade. Like 35 grams of weed? That's a fucking ounce.
Dude, you just fucking
More
blew
than
my
an
mind.
ounce.
You
That's
just
more than
blew
an
my
ounce. That's
fucking
an ounce
mind,
and
dude.
like
That's
a
messed
couple
up.
eighths.
We're in trouble.
That's one way to look at it, though.
That was a super good way to look at it. I was like, my mind just blew. I was like, wait, 38 grams? Oh, shit. I do see that on the
Put that
side of the
shit back.
Coca-Cola. Like, what the fuck? That Coke
Facts.
would be back with that. Fucking,
Dude, and it's
Yeah.
like, where is all that sugar that they put? Like,
it just
it's
fucking dissolves in that bitch. So, bucket. Alrighty, guys. So we're coming up to like the end of the year. We got a brand new year coming up, man. We have some cool promos. Brought to you by Latino DJ and GDP. What's cracking? So the GDP stands for Granddaddy Perps, and I'm just kind of graphic design and print. But incognito, wink, wink, wink. If you see me rolling through, you know what's cracking. We want to offer you guys, to all our listeners and our friends. I want to offer a package that I'm going to be giving out. We're going to be dropping on Wednesday. So I'm going to do flyers, business cards, and 2 car magnets. Okay, guys? So that's a set of car magnets for the side of your car. Get you guys this setup. We're going to get you guys pimped out, looking great for the New Year's, man. We got some New Year's resolutions. So 2021 is going to be your fucking year, guys. So let's fucking get you guys some promo. We're going to be, I can do you guys' design. If you guys already have a design in mind, some information, we'll fucking get you all set up and everything, man. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop that shit on Wednesday. Wig Wednesday. Thank you, guys. So we're supporting the podcast and everything. And to our first 5 people, man, we'll do that hit us up, that watch our YouTube premiere. I think we should do like a special even promo. So I'm gonna give you guys a good deal. Code? Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a good promo code right now. Nasty one. That's right.
Yes. And when does this deal end?
No, we're gonna keep this deal going. We're gonna keep it going.
Ooh.
So we're gonna give 5 people a super mega deal. It's gonna be dirt cheap for you guys watching on YouTube. So if you guys watch on YouTube, we're gonna drop a code right here at the bottom, and I'm gonna tell you guys that one. That's gonna be a secret. Because we do drop our episode on Spotify. We do drop it earlier during the day. So we dropped it earlier during the day so we can get you guys in your cars listening to our beautiful voices early in the morning. Kind of giving you guys a heads up, So if you're listening to us, man, thank you guys. Join us on Spotify. If you guys want to catch the first couple snippets of the episode and kind of get your day started, catch us on Spotify. We are definitely shooting to drop the nights before, and so that you guys can be on your way to work. And our YouTube version, live version, will be dropping at 7 o'clock Wednesdays.
Just so you guys can be at home chilling with your popcorn, watching us if you didn't get a chance to listen on your way to work. But also do us a favor, if you're listening right now, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening to. If it's YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, give us a like, 5 stars. Send this podcast to someone you think might enjoy it. Write us a review. Please write us a review. This is our 6th episode, and I don't think we have any reviews. So if you've been listening up until now, you owe it to us to write us a review. Please and thanks.
Yes, if you guys are our friends and followers. And then on the...
Or foes.
Our foes. Yeah, them foes.
And haters too.
Yes,
I
we
love my
haters.
haters. Yes,
So-
yes. And then you said about reviews. That's great. And it is also very important to add reviews to your local businesses. That
Especially right now.
Especially right now. It really, really helps. I love this great promotion that DJ Nasty is running for you guys. And the fact that there is no date when it ends, like, that's really good, because it's perfect time, like right now, to just get yourself started on your business or whatever your goals are. Feel free to contact us or even myself on any questions, concerns you may have. But one of the things that I do want to say is, if you have your business license or you're in the middle about to get it, one of the first things that you do want to do is to be on the web presence. Even if you haven't opened up your salon or your place or whatever it is, you can start with your business cards. You can start with your stickers. You can start with promoting it just in your car. So it is helpful to have a Google page, a Yelp page, just be on the web presence. If you guys need someone to do your web, we have a great guy, Chris. He's amazing. Or you can just build your own website for free on square.com. Yeah, it's just important. And contact all of your friends or family members, whoever you know that you can just send a text, like a personal text, and make it easy for them where they have the link. So you can just be like, hey, just drop me a review or just give me the 5 stars.
Yep.
That helps tremendously. So if you have someone, a friend or follower, someone ask you for a review, it really only takes seconds. You go on Google, you type in their name or on their Facebook, and you give them a like, the 5 stars. It just helps tremendously. But get started on all of your advertising and stuff like that, flyers and stickers and all that. Contact Jorge for
Promos, especially right now, Black Friday. I've been reading a lot of things, support small business and stuff. So, just be aware of like what's going on in your community before you go to fucking Kohl's and
Amazon
and run up your credit card.
Jeff Bezos.
I accept credit cards too. www.gambling.com.
wakesbyv.com. We also sell eyelashes for $10.
I owe you $20, by the way. Remind me to give them to you.
Latino DJ and GDP. That's right. Make sure you find us on Facebook. And then same thing. You can always look for me, Jorge Macedo _760 on Instagram. And or just, hit us up through one of our links. Obviously, if you guys are following us, man, you guys have a way to reach us. Let's sit down. Let's get together, guys. The year is going to end before you know it, and you're going to start a new year. You want to be up with the new promos, new business cards. Give them to your clients. They're going to remember you even much more cooler. I think this weekend, I got a cool business card from my wedding, and it was a photographer, and it was like, and it just stood out. Why? Because it was like plain white, and the font was like in like flashy gold, just like boom, and I was like, whoa, that's a nice business card to go. And the girl and the guy were like, yeah, that's right, so you can tell like when people give, like, they make a good business card and they're proud of their business. You know what I mean? They give it to you and you're like, oh shit, this caught my eye. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot the photography name, but I was like, oh cool. All right. I'm gonna put it in my wallet. I'll hit you guys up. And I was like, most likely we'll end up running into each other, throughout the year. I work with a lot of people closely within weddings and like quinceañeras and stuff. So you see everybody out there, like, it's everybody starting their own small business.
Yes.
You guys just take
Good job.
Take it on, guys. Don't be afraid to take that first step. I understand it's kind of difficult at first, man, and but definitely with the good head in your shoulders and a lot of planning, man. A lot of planning, and stay on top of your books, man. I saw V over here. She's got that calendar full. Man, her schedule looks like tip top. It looks like tip top, like schedule McGee, like just fucking boom, boom. It inspired me today. Like I was at work and I was on my break and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a calendar. I was like, okay, so I want this one to occur daily. Okay, and I want this one to occur weekly, and now I'm just gonna do that every day. So like tomorrow, what do I got tomorrow planned? What do I want to do? I want to edit the SIP podcast. I want to do this. I want to drop some more videos. Boom, boom. So if you have these things already, you put them into like your calendar, your stuff. You're already seeing them. I was going back through my book. It's giving me. I was rating my 3-year plan. I had a podcast on there. I had. I want to buy a house, and I'm just like going back revising it and like maybe adding little notes and like little things. So
adding check marks and
check marks and stuff.
Good job. And I love that you just share that. Everybody get your phones and just write it down. Even if you don't do it today, you are going to look at it and be like, oh, okay, I didn't get to it. And it might be to you like, oh man, I got to do that. And the more it's there, the more you're going to get it done. Get up, suit up, and show up. Even if it's at your living room in your PJs. Get to it. Be unique, like that business card. Don't sit there and copy. Be your own. Stand out. And like I said, even if there is like 20 hairdressers or 20 wig stylists, whatever it is, you're going to stand out because you're going to find out what sets you apart. And it may take time, but that's okay. Get started with all of the business cards, all of those stuff.
That's pretty cool. You said that, like, it doesn't matter, like, how many when I really understood, like, it doesn't matter, like, how many businesses are around you that do the same thing was one time when I went to Mexico, when my dad was like, oh, yeah, see, this is where your grandpa works, and this is where your uncle had his jewelry store, and then this is, like, everybody down that same, like, hallway had jewelry stores. So everybody is, like, doing repairs. Everybody's doing, I'm like, how the hell do you make business? But it's not. It's, like, there's enough business for everybody. Yes. Even it's a pueblo, like it's a small, like it was, back then I went when I was like 10 years ago, 15, it was like, Jesus Christ. Like I was like, man, how does everybody survive here? But no, it's the fact that you build relationship with customers, you give great customer service, and you're honest, and at the end of the day, it just comes down to like people are gonna find you. They're gonna see all these jewelers, they're gonna see all these wig places. It doesn't matter how many people are in that salon, but as long as they know who they're going with and that you are gonna treat them right, that's who's gonna stop by. And trust me, everybody else is just gonna be like a tunnel vision where they're just gonna be walking through.
And there's going to be that connection you make with someone. I know so many big wig salons, and sometimes someone has to get in that day. And like you saw my schedule, thankfully, I'm back to booked. I started from being overlooked, like nobody, to booked. And that's going to be you. I know it. It's just getting to it, But I think it's very important to also remember that sometimes the phone's not going to ring. You're not going to have appointments. That's okay. So what are you going to do? Build your Google page. Yes. Build your Yelp. Your check. Get a QuickBooks. Just get on Google or Yelp.
Make plans. What do you want to see your business give you? What is your plans for the next 3 years? What's the plan for the next week? How are you going to plan to get more customers? What are you going to put in place for you to be able to like say, hey, this is my place. I'm right here, guys. Look at me. Come right here. You're right here. I'm the best fit for you.
Yes.
So this is what, if you just sit around, and we can all sit around and be like, fuck, there's no money in my pocket. Of course there's no money in your pocket. But why is there no money in your pocket? Because you're not taking that extra step. If there's no money in your pocket, there's no fucking reason for you to be sitting on the couch and just chilling right there, waiting for somebody to call you. No, you should be on your couch with your laptop, doing whatever it is that you have to do, and getting more customers, sending emails, sending reviews. Hit me up. The more, like V said, if you have family members and people that follow you, have them write a review. Why? It's not just for your ego, people. It's not for our fucking ego. There's an algorithm in a web browser that lets people see your business first if there's a lot of activity going on. So obviously when there's more stars and there's more people writing reviews and writing comments, then you are gonna pop up first.
And actually, that's how Google works.
And it's free, guys. Like you are doing this and you're helping out your friend's business for free. The same thing that Google does when they send you a message as soon as you walk out of a restaurant. It's like, oh, were you just here? Can you write a review? You're like, what the hell? Since when am I working for Google? No, Google doesn't pay you for that. Neither should your friend. If you do it for Google for free, I know I've done it many times. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, full Saigon, done. Hell yeah, that was bomb. And also,
Love that place.
but yeah, I gotta throw that one out there. But you know, like I said, if you can do that for free for some other people that you don't even know, that you just go shop there, or just somebody telling you like Google, like review this place, like you can do it for your friend.
Yeah,
So
and
please,
don't be that asshole that just writes negative reviews.
yeah,
But
just
even
to
on
get
that
free
note,
shit.
even on that note, if you're listening and you have people that you have asked, it's okay. Don't even take it the wrong way. I know so many people that know that I do wigs or even lashes and know what I do, and they don't support my hustle, which is fine because it doesn't affect me. You have to not let it affect you. You got to find the right energy, provide the energy. So like if you focus on your business, not the chismes, the gossip, the boyfriend, the girl, none of that. You focus just plain on your business, it's going to bloom. When I started my business, a lot of people didn't even know. I didn't want to share that because I was afraid of failing. I didn't believe in myself. That's why I moved. I started in La Jolla and I was like, okay, pues si la cago, then I probably won't, you know, but I'm glad that I did that. And it's just, sometimes it is good to just work in silence, do all the paperwork, all the taxes, all of that, get it all legit in paperwork. Then you go out blooming. You're like, hey, here's my salon or here's my place. I'm selling my merch. Look online, sell, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's,
Exactly.
and it's
You
super
got
easy.
this.
Super easy, man. Don't be afraid. Business license are like 60 to like $80 a year with the city, guys, and that's practically all you need. You can work from home as long as you have like a little space in your garage. It's like super not like crazy, like nothing.
And they don't come check if you're under that code.
Yeah, they don't come and check. Most of the time, they don't come and check. They told me like I can do like any type of business in my garage as long as I can still fit a car in here. And I'm like, okay, well then how am I gonna work if I can still fit a car? But okay, yeah, sure. But as long as you can kind of like tell
You
them-
can fit a car, like half of the car here, half of the car over there. They didn't say it had to be a complete
you know,
car.
so it's just like okay, whatever. But yeah, like I said, don't be afraid, guys. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
We believe in you because we've done it.
Yeah,
From the bottom, or even like me, from the bottom and the other side. I saw a YouTube of this girl and she like put it, and it like touched my heart because I did start from the bottom and from the other side. I didn't speak the language. And here I am. If I can do it, you
that's
can do
trippy.
it.
Okay.
She
We can
got
all
a
do it.
podcast, sounding like she should be on the radio. She got that voice.
I got
La
that voice.
coqueta en la nueva. Siento.
Keep it going. That's a good one.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the
All the love.
All the
all the
love. Thank you for
all the
listening.
views. Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you
guys
for
are awesome,
having
man.
us be a part of your day, your night, your drive to work, all that.